we're still hitting. And I can't figure out where it's hitting, so I think we're going to come in with just a little bit of dye and go ahead and see where it's going to rub. We'll give that a chance to dry a bit. And we really can't do anything until we get that done. Although, no, we can, sure. Let's let this dry. And we're going to measure our depth. With the depthometer. And we want to be just a little bit high on the depth, which would be about right there. And we can come in, and we're going to set a nut up on top of that. Well, a washer and a nut. So this nut and that washer is going to go in that little area right there. So that'll be just about right. So we got to take some measurements for the nut and also measurements for the threads. So, somewhere about here, I'd say. Nope, too much. It's interesting, you can't really get this tool in there. Still too many. Where are we at here? Come on. I don't know, that might be it. It's looking like it, and we're setting that. Of course, I don't have any eyes left anymore, so I have to 8 threads per inch. Okay. Well, that's pretty easy. Now we want a outside diameter . Its inside diameter is 900, almost. And the outside diameter, we're going to give it just a little bit more, 100, so another 200. Let me make sure we've got that. All right, we're going to play around with this a little bit. What we need to do is we need to take it down to 1 inch 50 thousandths. And I think I want to get my center in here. So, let's just take it in 30 or so. We'll measure that and see what we got and what we need to cut off. So what we've got is 1 inch 150 48. 1 inch 148. And what did we do? And I didn't write it down, so I got to remeasure that. So if we cut 30, that'd be 40. So if we take 20, we should be there. One inch 130. Nice. Okay, we've got the axle finished. We got them to fit the disc, and now what we need is a couple of thrust washers, one on each side of the disc. So I'm just coming in with a boring bar and just trimming out a bunch of metal until it fits. And as you can see, that's going to go pretty quick here. It might actually be there now. Let's have a look and see. Way there. Okay. The other one's a little bit bigger out of yeah, so that's just going to barely fit. So let's take just a little bit more out, and this one will fit on this this thicker diameter. just come in and we're just going to kiss this edge just to pull off any excess ridge that's built up. And I went in and kissed that inside edge. I don't know if you could see that, but it kind of cleaned it up. Let's see if that's going to fit nicely. So there's one thrust washer, and we're going to cut another one for the other side. Soft metal, so no problem. Maybe one more pass and we'll test it. A little bit more, another 10 maybe. That's it. Now we're going to come in, go all the way through, and then bring our cutter back, and that'll chamfer that back side, and then we'll bring our cutter in and chamfer this front side, and we got a clean washer. Nobody gets their hands cut. All right, a fairly clean washer. Okay, so I can come in with the grinder now that well, actually, you know what, let's just flip it around and do it. There we go. Okay, there's 2 washers for that one. Now we need to do 2 more. Okay, so we've got the disc. We bored it out, and then we built the axle for the disc, and the axle fits very nicely. A couple of thrust washers I cut in order to get this to be able to roll without any problem and not bind up. And then, of course, we've got one more thrust washer here, and that takes us down to a level with the axle. And then this washer is kind of what you might call a lock washer. It kind of locks everything down, and then of course the nut goes on, and we've got a functioning, let's see if I can get it to spin, a functioning disc. So that should do the trick. Now, next thing I have to do is I have to come in and cut a little slot. In fact, maybe what I'll do is draw that slot. We're just going to cut a little slot right there like that. In order to be able to drill a hole through, once I tighten everything up, I'm going to drill a hole through the axle itself, and then put a cotter pin through it so that the whole thing locks together. It's not going to come apart no matter what. So the next thing we do is pull the nut off and take it over to the Bridgeport. The next part in our little project is to go in and we're going to cut a groove in the nut so we can put a cotter pin in there and lock it in place. So let's get her going. Just going to work into this real slowly. I'm going to take one pass for the whole thing. So it's a slow, evenly grabbing it, blowing it out, putting oil in it. Alright, well you see what we're doing. There's not a whole lot more to look at, just kind of slowly working our way into it. I'll turn you off and see you at the other end. Okay, so what we've got now is a semi-castle nut. And as soon as we put it on the axle, we'll tighten it up and then drill a hole right through the center there. Right down through there, and have a place for a cotter pin. Got our slots clot, and we put our washer on and bottomed it out on the axle itself, and now set up, and I'm going to drill a hole right through the center of this. Shouldn't be too much of a task. This time we're going to speed it up a bit. There we go. Not too difficult. One little small hole. One giant step for mankind. Alright. And of course we have a second one of these, but we'll just kind of save you that one. And we'll go on to, well actually you know what we could do at this point is go ahead and get a cotter pin and put it in there. Well, we don't need to do that. You can see the hole. Cotter pin can go right in there. It's going to hold that nut in place. Even if the nut loosens a little bit, it's not going to go any further than that. So next, after we drill the other one, next we're going to put this up against the vertical bar and go ahead and weld it in, because we're ready to do that.